The NFL has no answer for what the Kansas City Chiefs are doing, so we're going to be going through that and 3 other stories in today's video. So make sure to like this video, and if you want more Kansas City Chiefs news content like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel by hitting that red button down below. The first story is Chiefs called potential trade fit for dissatisfied defensive playmaker. The Kansas City Chiefs lost veteran safety Mike Edwards to the Buffalo Bills this offseason, and although they still have Justin Reid and Brian Cook on the roster as the projected starters at the position, they have not elected to replace him so far. Remember, defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo typically likes to employ a 3-man rotation at safety to some extent. As of April 3rd, the in-house candidates for the safety 3 role would be 2023 draft pick Shamari Connor, veteran special teamer Deion Bush, newcomer Trey Dean, a second-year prospect and former UDFA and practice squad flyer Tyree Gillespie. Is this room complete heading into organized team activities and training camp? It's up to the KC front office to determine that. But last word on sports NFL writer David Latham believes the Chiefs still profile as a potential buyer at safety, especially with Reid set to hit free agency in 2025 and Cook returning from injury. On March 31st, Latham listed Kansas City as one of 5 possible trade fits for New England Patriots safety Kyle Dugger. The Pats used a transition tag on the defensive playmaker this offseason, and according to Boston Herald reporter Andrew Callahan, Dugger remains dissatisfied with their efforts to extend him. He has yet to officially sign the tag, and there's no guarantee that he plans to. Callahan expects a max trade return of a 4th-round selection in the upcoming NFL draft, but did not rule out New England moving on from the former 2nd-round talent as they rebuild their roster. The big debate surrounding this trade suggestion would be upside. Is Dugger really worth trading for and then potentially extending when you already have Reid, Cook, and Connor among others? Latham was blunt in his opinion that Dugger would be a clear upgrade on Kansas City's current starters at the safety position. Let's dive into whether or not that's an accurate assessment. From an overall production standpoint, Dugger did accumulate more tackles than each of the Chiefs safeties in 2023 with 109 total tackles and 6 for a loss. Reid was the closest to that amount with 95 tackles and 5 TFLs. Tackles aren't necessarily the best judge of efficiency, however. Dugger was credited with 27 key defensive stops, according to Pro Football Focus, while Reid led KC with 32 key stops. His missed tackle rate was also slightly better than Dugger's at 8.2% compared to 9.6%. Having said that, Dugger was far better than Cook and Connor as an open field tackler. Their respective missed tackle rates were both up over 15% in 2023. In coverage, Dugger allowed 71.4% of his targets to be caught for 9.9 yards per reception. His passer rating against was an 88.5 and he was charged with 2 penalties. Based on the analytics, it's obvious that Reid and Dugger are the 2 most well-rounded safeties of this discussion. If the Chiefs did pursue him as Latham suggested, he'd likely start alongside Reid in 2024 and then replace him long-term. This would give Kansas City a solid 4-man group heading into this year's off-season program, eliminating one potential area of need in the draft. It would also create an interesting safety 3 competition between recent draft picks Cook and Connor. While this trade would certainly improve Spagnuolo's defensive versatility and depth, there's a question of whether or not it'd be necessary with the youngsters that are already on the roster. With Dugger, there's more of a known track record and reliability at age 28, but he'd also cost more guaranteed money to extend. With Cook and Connor vying for a starting role, there's more risk of a drop-off in consistency, but also more affordable upside if either of the 2 develop further at ages of 24 and 23. The second story is, trade proposal sends $51 million starter to Chiefs for middle-round pick. The Kansas City Chiefs still need a starting left tackle as they inch closer to the 2024 NFL Draft, which is on April 25th. Though second-year offensive tackle Wanya Morris could in theory start at LT for the team next season, it would be better for him to continue to develop in a backup role while also being a key emergency option if injuries hit the offensive line. So, finding a franchise left tackle in what is a very good offensive tackle draft class this year is likely at or near the top of general manager Brett Veach's priority list for the 3-day event. but with soon-to-be added cap space because the team traded cornerback L'Jarius Sneed to the Tennessee Titans. Bleacher Report's Mo Moton believes there's one player the Chiefs should consider trading for to fill one of their biggest needs: Jacksonville Jaguars offensive tackle Cam Robinson. The 28-year-old has missed games because of injuries and a suspension, but he's a solid plug-in play option if Kansas City wants a proven starter, Moton wrote on March 29th. Moton also described what he believes the Jaguars could fetch for Robinson in a trade if they decided to replace him in-house. Jacksonville could look to Walker Little to take over at left tackle, which could make Robinson expendable and available for a middle-round pick. Since being drafted by the Jaguars in the second round, 34th overall in the 2017 draft, Robinson has been a good starting caliber player when healthy and in the lineup. Robinson surrendered 20 sacks over 5 seasons as Jacksonville's full-time starter. Yet injuries and off-the-field behavior have Moton and others wondering if the 28-year-old Robinson's time in Jacksonville could be coming to a close sooner rather than later. Robinson is in the final year of his 3-year, $54 million contract with the Jaguars. He has a cap hit of $21.9 million, according to Over the Cap. Per SpotRack, Robinson has made $51.9 million during his 7-year NFL career. If the Chiefs could acquire Robinson for a mid-round pick, regardless of what that pick is, specifically Kansas City should have interest in that. The two-time defending Super Bowl champions could address one of their top needs simply by giving up a Day 2 or Day 3 draft pick. And giving up that type of draft capital for a known commodity is more valuable to the team than taking the chance on an incoming prospect. If Kansas City wanted to, it could also give Robinson a contract extension, which would lower his large 2024 cap hit. The Chiefs would at that point still have spending money for more transactions or to carry over into the 2025 offseason. As it currently stands, the Chiefs have $6.5 million in cap space, according to OTC. Once Sneed officially joins the Titans and his $19.8 million cap hit is off Kansas City's books, the Chiefs will have $26.3 million in cap space, which will be the 9th most in the NFL. The Kansas City Chiefs addressed the wide receiver position in free agency by signing Marquise Hollywood Brown, but that might not stop them from doubling down at WR in the NFL draft. One tantalizing prospect that could slip to the Chiefs at number 32 overall is Georgia wide receiver Ladd McConkey, a draft riser who raised his stock with impressive performances during Senior Bowl week and the Combine. Bleacher Report scouting expert Derek Klassen linked McConkey to the Chiefs on March 28th, labeling KC as his top team fit at the professional level. Ladd McConkey is as polished and explosive a route runner as you'll find outside the top 10 in this class, Klassen wrote. But make no mistake, he is not a slot-only player. The third story is Chiefs named candidate to sign former Texans' $17 million starter. The Kansas City Chiefs trade to send L'Jarius Sneed to the Tennessee Titans is finally official, and now the Chiefs can make some moves. With the extra $19.8 million in cash, the Chiefs have several holes to fill, such as defensive end, running back, and left tackle. However, Bleacher Report's Alex Ballentine predicts Kansas City may bring back a familiar face to help replace Sneed. Cornerback Steven Nelson, drafted by the Chiefs in the 3rd round of the 2015 NFL Draft, remains available in free agency. Nelson spent the past 2 seasons with the Houston Texans, helped turn the franchise around last year. He recorded 63 total tackles, 12 passes defensed, and 4 interceptions in 2023. In 2 playoff games, he added 12 total tackles, 3 passes defensed, and an 82-yard pick six. During his final season with the Chiefs in 2018, he registered 68 total tackles, 15 passes defensed, and 4 interceptions. However, Nelson made pointed remarks about Kansas City following his exit, so the two sides would need to mend fences before a possible return. SpotRack.com projects Nelson's market value at a 2-year, $16.8 million contract. However, due to his age, 31, A2Z Sports suggests that a 1-year, $7 million could do the trick. Nelson is the best of the corners remaining on the market based on production, Ballentine wrote on March 30th. He was a notable element of the Texans' success on defense last season, giving up a passer rating of just 73.3 on 70 targets. Nelson was a consistent starter playing in Lovie Smith's defense in 2022 before transitioning to DeMeco Ryans' system in 2023. His ability to play multiple schemes should make him an attractive option looking for late free agency help. The Kansas City Chiefs could be on the lookout for a veteran who could help prepare a rookie for a bigger role. They need to replace L'Jarius Sneed, and depending on an unproven player might not be the way to go for a Super Bowl contender. In the same article, Ballantyne also listed the Chiefs as a candidate to sign former Miami Dolphins cornerback Xavier Howard, who was released as a cap casualty. Kansas City stand out as contenders who could use another starting option at corner, he wrote. The Dolphins designated him a post-June 1 cut because it will save them $18.5 million against the salary cap. On the field, Howard was a positive asset as a starting corner. He started 13 games, allowed just 1 touchdown, and an opponent passer rating of 81.3 when targeted.